proof that ChatGPT is giving a brain rot, not in a metaphorical way, literally. Electrodes on your skull, lab coat, MIT scientist proof. They compared people who wrote essays using ChatGPT versus those don't and tested their brain memories and psychology. Today I have a guest speaker, Ahmad Nazal, a medical doctor and neuroscientist who is focusing on AI in clinical practice and education. We will walk you through the actual study step by step.
I think this study is really an interesting study, and it is hugely taken out of context and misunderstood. So my take on it. So first of all, the paper is still a preprint, so it is published online but still not peer-reviewed, which means that it needs to go through the peer reviewing process, which is like experts, other scientists in the field need to read it, comment on it before it gets published in what we call peer-reviewed journals. So the results are still at a very early stage, and the authors will sure take all the feedback that they got from everyone and from the reviewers themselves before publishing it. The second point, and as you mentioned, this study focuses on writing only. Writing with ChatGPT and writing without ChatGPT, and actually they have a third condition, which is writing with using search engines like Google. And the other thing, that it was done in a small group of participants, so the statistical power for it is still limited, and in a very specific group of participants, which are college students. And we know that everyone is using ChatGPT right now. It means that their results do not generalize to the whole population. So we cannot say, okay, it applies to everyone else on all the tasks that we are using ChatGPT or other large language models for. So let me dig a little bit deeper and let me start reading something from the paper. So it says, our findings offer an interesting glimpse into how large language model assisted versus unassisted writing engage the brain differently, which is actually not that surprising. I mean, it's like saying, okay, we compared someone who's really writing to someone who's just reading. I mean, if you think about what you're doing when you're using ChatGPT for writing, you're actually reading its output and not really writing it. And it's not surprising to expect that the brain activity will look different. Maybe one way of looking at the results or trying to understand it would be as, okay, how would writing activity differ from reading, right? So I think this is interesting to look at, and I'm not sure that they were able to disentangle those two very important components, like is the one who was using ChatGPT is actually engaging the brain in a similar way that like someone who would be just reading a text and not writing the text. So that would be interesting to look at.
I have a full video analyzing how this MIT study may be flawed in design and drawing conclusion. And if you want to hear the medical doctor and neuroscientist Ahmad Nazal's opinion, you can jump to the timestamp 8 minutes.